name's Bond, James Bond.
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to BACKTRACK Cinema, and welcome to the brand new show, Action Movies Reloaded. And the future of law enforcement is here. We're going to be talking and dissecting RoboCop, and I got the coolest guy on YouTube with me, Nick Cooling from the Movie Ranker and the Metal Junkie. I almost said the Movie Junkie. Sorry, Nick. The Metal Junkie and the Movie Ranker, and your host of Late Night with the Davey down below me, Davey Death Ray. Gentlemen, how you doing?
What's up, everyone? I'm doing great.
Doing
Awesome.
well. Can't wait to talk some RoboCop here. I love this movie, so let's go.
Awesome. Yeah, so everyone, I'll just get this out of the way first, like, subscribe, all that jazz. I mean, I don't want to oversay it and overkill it, but enjoy the show and all that. Comment below all that, because I just want to kind of get going with this. You guys want to talk RoboCop. You don't want it to delay any further. Nick, like, what was your introduction to action movies? Like your first film, or maybe your favorite film?
I think it had to be Terminator. I'm pretty sure, because thinking back, I was like 6, 7. I remember I used to go to the library and just rent 1 and 2 all the time on VHS. Well, they were free at the library, right? And like every weekend I had to have them and just watch those 2 back to back. I just absolutely love them. Of course, they're like multi-genre movies. They're not straight up action, but yeah, there's enough action in there for sure. So yeah, I just really fell in love with those, and then things just start branching out. Of course, grew up with a bunch of cheesy like late 80s, early 90s action like Cyborg and all those great films too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think Terminator was probably like my first one that I watched like 1,000 times.
Nice. Davey, you got a favorite or a first action film that kind of got you into the genre?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if RoboCop was the first one I saw, but what, we're talking 88, 87?
87.
Right? 87. So I was 5 when it came out, but my parents rented it on VHS right when it came out. So I probably saw it sometime in 88, something like that, probably wasn't even 6 years old yet. So, really impressionable and everything like that. Action has never been like the genre that I have, gravitated to first. For me, it's been like comedy and horror, or kind of like my go-tos or whatever. But yeah, same kind of thing with Terminator. Like, really loved that, those first 2 movies, especially. Predator was a lot of fun when I was a kid as well. So those are the ones I think of. I mean, Die Hard has got to be up there, when you think about these quintessential 80s action movies and everything. But I think like there's something so pulpy about RoboCop that really, makes it stand just a cut above the rest for me.
Awesome. Do you guys have a favorite action star, or someone like you'd watch a lot?
I really love Stallone. I mean, I know you do too.
Yeah.
Especially like from the Rambos and the Rockies and everything. Of course, the big ones like Arnold and Jean-Claude Van Damme, all the ones we grew up with. Nowadays, there's not a whole lot for action stars. Jason Statham's probably like the only like big one you see reoccurring all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and even the cruisers from the 80s, right? Technically, like Tom Cruise, it's from the 80s, right? He's just killing it with the Mission Impossible franchise. But you're right, there's not many.
Yeah, it's a dying thing. You don't see action stars like that anymore, unless they're like MCU stars or something,
Yeah, or like The Rock or something like that.
Yeah.
He kind of does that a little bit now.
True.
So, but he sort of jumps over, like, it's all sorts of different kind of action-y, like the Fast and the Furious are kind of like the action movies of the last 20 years, that
Right.
franchise. But yeah, I think Arnold is kind of like the one that really sticks out, right? He and Stallone are the, that's the versus battle everyone will always talk about right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's a good versus battle when you actually
very
think about their
healthy,
films.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So Nick, when you think of RoboCop, I mean, what's your statement of this film, or what is your what do you think of when you think of RoboCop when you look back at this movie?
I think it's pretty rich for this type of movie. for its themes and the social commentary and stuff. That makes it stand out, I feel like, from a lot of the other action movies at the time, and plus with the sci-fi elements and everything. So I think it's more smart than what a lot of people give it credit for. And when you add on top of the ultra violence, it's just a perfect recipe, I find. And yeah, it can be a little outdated in certain scenes and stuff, but that sort of thing doesn't really bother me. I know it bothers some people, but you know, I don't know, maybe it's because we grew up with them or whatnot, but I can see how people nowadays would find them cheesy or outdated.
As my 11-year-old said to me the other day while I was watching it, he goes, "What is this, Dad?"
Exactly,
RoboCop,
like-
and he's like, "It is cheesy." Davey, what do you think of?
Yeah, I guess I think of that. It's like a comic book come to life kind of thing. You know, it's, to me, I think RoboCop is so like over the top in the humor and over the top in like the gore and the blood splatter and everything. I mean, some of the best squibs you'll ever see are in this movie. And then I think the film balances out with a really good story and a very, like, a movie about humanity, but it's about a man who isn't really a human anymore, you know? So I think that's the blend, and maybe a blend that we don't see a lot in modern films, unfortunately, where I think like it goes really big in certain ways, and then it's kind of subtle with its more serious points. And I think that helps the comedy land better, and it helps the syrupy kind of stuff not be so cheesy or anything like that. Like I like the juxtaposition of those elements here. And yeah, it's classic Paul Verhoeven, right? He's always had that really good mix of the social commentary with the violence and everything like that. And his stories and his movies are just like really kinetic and fun. So I always think of that, and just so much fucking blood in this movie. You know, and I just think, man, this movie is like, would they even make something this bloody and have it be a rated R film in today's era? I don't even know if they could. Like, this would be like Terrifier level gore, you know, in a movie nowadays.
Well, that's what I think of. I think of excess. Everything about this is excess. It's extreme violence, extreme swearing, for its time anyway. Not so much extreme sex, but there's the scene where he has the two girls. He just doesn't have one, he has two. And with a pile of coke everywhere, like everything is just so excess, right? And one of my favorite one lines, "Bitches leave." I love that.
Yeah.
For
the
sure.
movie encapsulates the 80s so well, you know, with the excess and over the top. And it's like, when I think of, like, when I close my eyes and I think 80s action films, or like what that decade of action movies is like, because that's kind of the decade that solidified the formula. You know, I think about movies like, I would say, Die Hard, RoboCop, and Predator. You know, those kind of set the tone. They're like that's the holy trinity right there. Yeah, RoboCop.
Interesting, because they all came out within a year of each other, like 87, 88.
Well, they did their homework. They figured out what the 80s were all about, and then boom, right before the decade switch, they're like, here's what we have to say about this decade in review. And I think they all did a really good job at that.
For sure. All right, let's go to what I like to call the debrief. So RoboCop was released on July 17th, 1987, which I remembered clearly because my parents were on a date, and my mom came back and said that was the most violent movie I've ever seen in my life. Budget $13 million, which is not too bad. I mean, it's not the biggest budget in the world, but not the smallest. Bringing in $53 million, directed by Paul Verhoeven, written by Edward Neumeier and Michael Miner, starring Peter Weller, Ronnie Cox, Nancy Allen, which is our action babe of the week, Nancy Allen, and Kurtwood Smith. Rotten Tomatoes, 84% on both the audience and the critics, which is pretty good. I think that's a better than average score, to be honest with you, from what people think. Some people think about this movie. So, and IMDb is 7.6 out of 10. So I'll leave that up for a few seconds. What do you guys think of these numbers?
The Rotten Tomatoes, I do think you're right about that. That's pretty rare that those two scores would be so damn close. I think the IMDb score, whatever, I think it's just a little too low, but what can you do? Yeah, I mean, man, summer right smack dab in the middle of the summer, 87. What a year. Kurtwood Smith, best villain ever. That's what I got.
You, Nick, what do you think?
The only thing that really surprised me is I'm surprised the critics liked this as much as they did.
I agree.
Yeah.
They're not bad numbers considering Lethal Weapon of the same year was like a $24 million budget. I think. I think Predator was a little bit higher budget than RoboCop, a little bit, but you're playing with the same area, the same kind of money. I don't think that's a much better movie, but I do love this movie as we'll get down to. But I mean, I'm a Predator fanatic though, so yeah, let's just get into our categories here. Let's start the fun here. All right, we're gonna start with story. We'll go down Nick, Davey, then myself. So Nick, what do you got for the story? What's the rating you gave or the points? So we're gonna be giving points for each category, everyone who's watching. So let me know in the comments too, or when I turn this to a live show, you'll be interacting a lot better, but giving all these category points. So Nick, what do you got with the points and why?
For story, I gave it a solid 8. I really enjoyed it, obviously. Seeing this cop who's a little overconfident, coming from a less like bad precinct, I guess, like less crazy and less dangerous neighborhood or whatever, and going into this on his first day, and you see what happens to him, and just losing his humanity. Basically, they make him what did they call it, like an ass? He's an asset for them or whatever.
Yeah,
he's no longer a person, basically. And and how he slowly is having these little visions and everything, and eventually goes on this little revenge hunt on the crew that did this to him. And yeah, it's just really fun, really entertaining. I think the pacing's really good. There's never really a dull moment for me. I think that I would have given it a little bit of higher score. I think if they would have just delved a little bit deeper, a little bit more in depth with his character. But I understand that, like, the way this flows is just so awesome that maybe that would have slowed things down a little too much. But yeah, really solid story in my opinion.
Davey, what did you give it?
So I gave the story a 9 on this one. I love every little bit of it. You know, I love how we kind of start off, and every now and then we take those breaks to the fake commercial bumpers and everything that kind of just immerse us in the world. So I love how that's kind of like this, a little bit of like a cage that the story gets played in, is this dystopian, version of Detroit and everything like that. So I love how they set that up, that this is like the nuclear war is so commonplace that now we just have like fun family games about it and everything. And to go from there to not only that, but like we go from nuclear war is kind of commonplace to now another cop is having his locker cleaned out because he didn't make it back from the last shift. And you notice that this is something it's happening like at the ground level, where they're just losing people seemingly every day, right? So they're trying to stop the bleeding literally and figuratively. The police force, they're all getting like restless and everything. I love that element. And what it is it's this desperate moment that creates this opportunity for this corporation to kind of sneak in and get their tendrils into the city with this grand plan to basically run the entire place. So I thought that was a pretty sneaky little line in there, a little storyline that they work in. And of course, there's the obvious. There's the, Murphy losing his humanity, having little, memories of the life that he had before, and then having to rediscover who he is and ultimately get revenge. It's a bit of an interesting, different kind of resurrection story here. But I love the button that they put on everything at the end, where he really has become Murphy again. The last line of the movie, is like, hey, son, what's your name? And he looks at the screen and says Murphy. So it's like, boom, he's not just RoboCop. He still is the man he was before. So I think they put a nice little bow on everything. And yeah, this one's a 9 out of 10 for me.
It really proves that you should never not unionize. You should never let a company
corporatize
control the cops and everything.
Yeah, it's a nice cautionary tale for sure.
Yeah, like it's a capitalist society, right? That
Right.
that the little satire. It's all satire too. It's really cool. I like
Mhm.
that part of the story. For me, I gave it a 7.5. I just wish they would have handled his story a little better. And Lewis is wasted in all three movies, not just this one. I think she's really
Hmm.
wasted because she made the call for them to go in there. He said, "Call it, let's go," with no backup. So she would have been had extreme guilt, and I would like to
Mhm.
saw them explore that. But it's only an hour and 35 minutes too. So if they would have gave this movie 15 minutes longer, maybe they could have dealt with a lot of these. But I like everything else with the story, the Frankenstein feel to it, where
Mhm.
like I still remember them, but I can't feel them, or I can't remember them, but I can still feel them. So
Mhm.
he's like this Frankenstein character, the religious metaphors where he's looks like he's walking on water at the end when he comes after Clarence, or when he's getting
Mhm.
shot to death. That's almost like the crucifixion, right? The way
Yeah.
they shoot it, and then she's at his feet. It's this really cool religious metaphors that I really love about this story, and paced really well and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I'm sitting at a 7.5. It's a good story. You know what I mean?
I just gotta say, I love how OCP is like not good for the people, right, in general, but their own company is constantly like backstabbing each other in like all their own employees, right? Like it's
Yeah.
really cutthroat.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
like the
bathroom scene is
yeah.
amazing.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
Davey.
Yeah.
One time, I even called him asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Let's go to our next one. Hero. So our hero, RoboCop. What are you giving them there, Nick?
Oh, sorry. I said story was an 8. I gave it a 9 actually. I had written down 9. Sorry about that.
Oh, story is a 9. Okay.
Yeah, it was a 9. Yeah, for my hero, I gave it an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I wish they would have just dove a little bit, maybe went a little more depth with his character and with him, with his family and everything. But for the most part, yeah, very solid, very iconic. Like no other hero or character looks like RoboCop, acts like RoboCop. He's his own thing. All of his lines are like very, very like law enforcement. All the shit he says, which we'll get into with the one-liners. He's not like this crazy like fast or anything. Obviously, he's super clunky and slow, but he definitely has like the defense and the firepower, right? Yeah, he's just such an interesting character. I really like him.
Sweet. You, Davey? What'd you give him?
I gave him an 8 as well. Yeah, I think RoboCop's a really solid hero. Of course, yeah, we could have had a little bit more time. In the sequel, they dive more into all of that stuff, like with the family, and they kind of, put all of that like to rest, as it were. But yeah, I could have used a little bit more of that here in the first film. And yeah, because of the limitations of the time and everything, there's, we probably would have gotten a little bit more of him if the movie were made nowadays. So yeah, I docked him a little bit, but he is so awesome. He's a very like, the cool thing about RoboCop is that there's something Murphy was like, the reason why RoboCop is the way he is because Murphy brings a little bit of that personality. So there is that like selflessness and the good-hearted nature, right? Like he's got the machine programming and everything, but he's still making decisions. And I like that about it. It's not just like mindless like the Terminator or like a straight up program. So yeah, give him an 8 here.
Yeah, like the little gun thing he does where he twirls and puts on side,
Yeah.
because that's from with him and his son, like little things like that.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
even aren't certain lines "Dead or Alive, You're Coming with Me" because he repeats
He
that
says that,
Yeah.
yeah, at the start.
to Emil or whatever. We killed you. Yeah, all that. Yeah. So plenty of Murphy is still in there. And I think Lewis, I gotta say, Jason, I mean, she could have had that moment, that like regret and everything, but I think she's got something to do in that she really does make him fully realize, like, dude, you're not imagining things. Like you were a person, and you're still in there.
Yeah.
So she has something to do. But yeah, I hear you. If the movie were made now, it would be 2 hours and 15 minutes long.
Oh, probably.
It would be way too long at that point. You'd be like, oh, come on.
I gave him a 6.5 because I never found that the actual hero of the story carries this movie at all. I think Peter Weller had a far better career as he got older as an actor.
Mhm.
I know it was tough being in the suit and everything like that with him. It was like really hot, filmed in Dallas, Texas, and it was super hot in that suit and everything. But I don't know. I almost feel like almost anybody could have been put in that suit, and you still would have had the character would have been the same for me. I wanted a little bit more out of this character as far as being a hero and everything. Like at the end, I do like the whole Murphy thing, yeah, I'm Murphy, and when he's remembering, like he's not bad. Like I'm not saying he's horrible in it. Just for me, I just couldn't. I was like, it's like you take all the villains, how good the villains are out of this movie. I think you might have a weak movie after that, because I think they're the strong point. I find everyone surrounding RoboCop is far better in this movie, so that's the only reason I give him a 6.5. But it's definitely a cool design for its time and all that stuff. We can get into more of that with the stunts and practical effects, but yeah, I'm sitting at a 6.5 myself. Villain, here we go, Nick. Clarence. We're talking Clarence here. I know Dick Jones is basically the head honcho, but just for sake of argument, we're just going with Clarence here.
I thought we were talking about the Ed 209. Yeah, Clarence. I mean, it's Kurtwood Smith. I feel like really made that role memorable. You put anybody else in there, and it may not have worked the way it did. The way he portrays him, it's just every scene, like when they're all holding the guns out, and then when they're with the Italians, and he's just so nonchalant and sticks his fingers in the wine, puts it up to his nose and everything. Like he just doesn't care, and I feel like makes him like unpredictable. You never know, he could kill anybody around him at any time, and I just love that about him. He's very threatening, and like he means business when he's ready to kill somebody too. The only thing I gave him an 8. The only thing I brought him down a bit. I actually really don't like the part though where he's like ratting out Dick Jones and all that, and he's like, no, that they made, like, I don't know. I just feel like I just don't like that rat aspect of him. I guess I don't know if he would have really done that, but I guess it was the only way he knew how to survive at the time, right? So I get it. But yeah, it's
he's
definitely
a cyborg, you idiot. He recorded every word you said.
Yeah, but yeah, he is awesome in this movie. But I think Kurtwood Smith is a big reason for that for me personally.
Sweet. You, Davey, what'd you give him?
Yeah, I gave the villain a 10 on this one. This is one of my favorite villains of all time. Before we started the call, I was joking that my Mount Rushmore of villains, movie villains, is like Clarence Boddicker, Darth Vader, Michael Myers, and RJ Fletcher from UHF. There's something, it's everything that Nick was saying, of course. And I think there's, Kurtwood has this, male pattern baldness, like dad glasses, like this unassuming look about him, but really that don't give a fuck attitude, and something very intimidating and frighteningly masculine about the man as well. Like, he is just the cock of the walk. There's sticking the fingers in the wine and everything. There's putting the gum on the nameplate of the secretary and asking if she could fit him in and all that kind of stuff. I mean, bitches leave, of course. But I think my favorite one-liner is after they discover that the money is all burnt and it's as good as marked, and he kicks open the back doors of the truck and he grabs the guy and he goes, "Can you fly, Bobby?" Like, that is one of my favorite lines of all time in any kind of movie. There's just something so sinister about him, but he takes like a great glee in what he does as well. So I think that, you had mentioned that, RoboCop, if you take out the villains, it's not as good. And I would argue that, like, in any great movie or great story, I would hope that you would feel that way, right? The villain should be something that you really understand and really get to know, so you know exactly what your hero's dealing with. So I'm a-okay with Clarence Boddicker maybe outshining RoboCop a little bit.
Well, yeah, movie. You gotta. I think there's nothing worse when your villain's not at par with your hero.
Yeah,
it could hurt the film big time.
Yeah, you don't want the hero overshadowing the whole story. Like, you really got to feel like that villain for sure.
For sure. I gave good old Clarence Boddicker an 8.5 out of 10. I think this guy is one of the greatest. He's top 10 villain for me, for sure. Like, of all time. Like, I love this guy. Like you said, Davey, the look of him, with the glasses, the balding head, and everything like that. And what he reminds me of, he's a villain like Freddy Krueger in the sense he just loathes in the badness.
Yeah.
Like he just loathes it. He loves it. He just like when he's ready to kill Murphy, he goes, "You probably don't think I'm a very nice guy." And he's like, it's almost a comic sketch. Like it's like the
Yeah.
like it's just he's fantastic, and I just can't. So he carries this. He's got so much charisma too, and you know when he's like when RoboCop's throwing through the glass and he's just like, "What is this bullshit? I got protection, man. I'm protected." And it's just, and it's because he's got such he knows he's protected that he can just do what the hell he wants and when he wants, how he wants. You know what I mean? And he just Kurtwood Smith just. I love when an actor has so much fun playing the bad guy. And they're having fun. They're having a riot playing this character, and he really does that. So yeah, just love it.
Like I said, I'm just curious on what we would be saying if it was a different actor, if if you couldn't pull that off, right?
Yeah, well, at the end of the show, I'll mention, if this was remade, maybe we can just think like, well, who would play these characters, and if we have a little bit of time, guys.
Yeah.
All right, action set pieces. One of my favorite categories, actually, because I love action. So, Nick, what do you think of the action in this movie, in the set pieces?
When I was thinking of this category, I was like, which action set pieces or scenes really stand out to me in this movie? For me, I think my favorite is probably the gas station scene. I just really love that scene, and great stunt too that we'll get into. But yeah, that, and you get like when he's like driving down the road, like the whole scene where they shoots the "Can you fly?" and he shoots the guy out on the cop car. But I feel like a lot of it is just like in the street or in the factory, like a lot of the action. So I ultimately just went with a 6.5 with this one, because it's not like other movies where there's like this big action piece where everybody remembers like the scene more so than what happened in it or whatnot, So yeah, that's where I landed.
What about you, Davey?
I gave this one an 8 on the action set pieces because, I thought it was like a little light. I mean, I could probably even go with a 7. I'll stick with an 8. But it's like there are all these little set pieces, kind of like montage of RoboCop taking care of some business, saving the older couple at the convenience store, saving the woman from the two guys by shooting them straight in the dick. All that kind of stuff, like a whole bunch of kind of rescuing a cat out of a tree, kind of Superman sort of stuff, which is really sweet. But when I think about the action set pieces, I'm like, oh, well, there's when Murphy gets completely destroyed, and then there's him getting his revenge back at the same location, right? The little foundry or whatever it is. Yeah, the plant,
steel mill or whatever,
abandoned but still operating plant. Kind of odd. It's all rusted out, but everything still works. So I'll give it an 8 on that, because I think that probably given how cumbersome the suit was and everything, they didn't get as lofty, I think, in this movie as you probably would have gotten in a movie like a Terminator film or something. No, but I'll give them some love for the set pieces because they make way for great stunts and effects that we will talk about shortly.
Yeah, they left the big thing of toxic waste behind too.
Yeah,
they did. They're like, see, that'll probably come in handy for some police officer down the line.
Yeah, I went with a 7.5. I mean, I've seen much better action in other films, and I don't know. I think there's just a lot of guns are being blown off, and there's a lot of shooting scenes, but there's only some of it. I mean, I guess I've always remembered the factory scene where he goes in and he shoots everyone, and he's doing the behind him like this, and that's where he captures Clarence. That always stood out to me. There's some good driving sequences and stuff like that near the end there as they're shooting. But yeah, I think we've all, even in the 80s, we've seen more elaborate action scenes, and especially nowadays with how much but I mean, we are dealing with a $13 million budget too, so the same guy did Total Recall, and I would say that's a much better action film as an action movie. So yeah, I sit at a 7.5 for the action set pieces.
but it's not necessarily like the main draw of the movie either, so it doesn't really hurt it, I feel.
No, it doesn't. Well, yeah, that's a good point. It doesn't hurt it. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like it's almost like it's a bit more of a cerebral kind of action movie, even though it's got all this comedy in it too. But yeah, it's really I think it's the suit. Like, you know, they can't have him running around being too crazy. He can't be Arnold in that suit, but they do hook him up to the magnet, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, it's true. One-liners, Nick. What do you got for one-liners?
Got some pretty good ones in here. Just Murphy alone. You got the obvious "Dead or Alive, you're coming with me." Gotta love that one. I mean, I'd buy that for $1. Has to be the one I say the most. I've been saying it for friggin' like 30 years, that line. So yeah, I love that. And like you mentioned earlier, Clarence, he has quite a bit of good ones too. I like that one line too. My friends call me Murphy. You can call me RoboCop or whatever. So yeah, I give this one a 7.5 in the one-liners. It's not like, I feel like Commando would be the movie that gets 10 out of 10 because it's like every line Arnold says in Commando is a one-liner. This one isn't as bad as that with the one-liners, but yeah, there's definitely a few memorable ones.
Davey?
This is a 10 out of 10 for me on the one-liners. I think they're incredible in this movie. This is like, because it's not just one-liners for one-liners' sake, and they're not just like cheesy, you know, like Arnold saying like stick around for a little bit or so, you know what I mean? It's like, this is actually like, these are one-liners that are like, oh damn, like these are mic drop moments. And almost every character seemingly has one-liners in this film. I mean, even Lewis or whatever, I knew a guy that had a dog named Murphy, and every time I saw the dog, I would go, Murphy, it's you. He's got, you know, so even she's got a one-liner that like is an earworm in
or
my
the
head.
guy with the high-pitched laugh. We used to laugh at it. We'd rewind it because he go ha ha ha.
Well, and that's an 80s thing. You had to have in an 80s action movie, you had to have the maniacal laughter. One character had to do the like, that was just an 80s thing. It had to happen. It was like, it's like in the 90s with alternative bands, like one guy had to have a goatee and he probably had a bald head too. You had to have some, you know, like you have to have it. But yeah, the one-liners here are just, they're absolutely incredible. They're all over the place. And it's not even just the characters. They're like great little catchphrases in the fake commercials and everything like that. There's I'd buy that for $1, which is like an in-universe joke. We never get what the joke is. We just hear the punchline. And it's just, I love that about it. And there's another one. Jason, you were talking about the Murphy death scene when he's like, I bet you think I'm probably not a really nice guy or whatever, but he's got the line where he's like, you a good cop? Like the way he says that, there's just something like, it's so like built-in condescension. Like, you know, you're going to try to fucking stop me kind of attitude. I love that. So yeah, one-liners here. I mean, I can't think of a movie that's not like a comedy film that is like as perfectly quotable as RoboCop.
You make a good point about them not being as cheesy as most the 80s action movies though, because those are like meant to be like super cheesy compared to this one. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, they're like puns and everything.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really do puns. Even when he's like, can you fly, Bobby? That's not really a pun. He's just like, I'm about to throw you out of a moving vehicle. But
it's all delivery. It's just the whole movie's delivered properly with all the one-liners. Like myself, I gave this a 9.5 out of 10. It was almost perfect. I did a top 10 quotes of the movie a while back, and I was looking at it today, and I'm like, I can't believe I left the line out where he goes, guns, guns, guns. Come on, Sal. The Tigers are playing tonight. Never miss a game.
God.
And even the chief of police there, you know, we're not plumbers. We're police officers. Police officers don't strike. Or he goes, hey, Lewis, stop fucking around with your suspect and meet your new partner. Like every character has a quote in this. You could sit there and go, I had to blow the safe. You burnt all the fucking money, you asshole. You stupid.
Yeah.
Like even when he's delivering swear words, or he's like everybody, like dead or alive, you're coming with me. That's a really cool line too. I think bitches leave may be my favorite though. I've always loved that one.
Have you seen the shirt? There's a bitches leave shirt.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. I mean, even RoboCop saying, drop it. Like that's a
Yeah.
friggin' quotable. Like I heard that playing the Data East arcade game. You hear the Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me, and drop it like over and over again.
It's it's movies like this, Commando, the Crow, Cobra. They're just, you could quote these movies forever, man. Like so quotable, and the one-liners really hold up for me. I think they're awesome. Even like Bob Morton, he goes, "You're gonna be a bad motherfucker."
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
Miguel Ferrer is
Yeah.
really, really good. Like shout out to him. Rest in peace. Just such an awesome performer in everything, and what a voice.
Yeah, he's really good. But yeah, one-liners are great, man. All right,
There's
moving
another
right
one too.
along.
Isn't cops hate me and I kill cops or something like that
Yeah.
too? Yeah.
Cops don't
Well, and
like me, so I don't
Yeah.
like cops. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like cops.
And
either.
what does Murphy say back to me when he says, like, I bet you think I'm not a nice guy? He's like, buddy, I think you're slime.
You're slime.
Yeah, you're slime.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Or we like, there's even to this day, whenever I pretend to tell someone to F off or whatever, I try to say it like Clarence. I go, fuck you.
How about spitting on the sheet instead of signing it and saying, give me my fucking phone call or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, jeez,
Yeah,
dude,
it's
come
just,
on.
yeah, there's this, sometimes the one-liners are just burnt into my brain.
Mhm.
And it's like, there's something that, or especially like the boss, right? Where he goes, you just stepped across the line or whatever. You
Yeah.
just crossed over it, buddy boy. Like that is pretty funny.
Yeah. The guy leaves the bathroom with like piss, like still
In his
coming out.
pants there, yeah.
Yeah.
Or even at work, because I'm a machinist and we make like parts and everything, in production, and I'm like, spare parts for the last 25 years. Like everything is quotable in this movie.
Mhm.
All right, this is a fun one. Stunts and special effects. So we're kind of just blending the stunt work and the special
Okay.
effects, done by Rob Bottin, by the way, did the thing. So
I did
go
not
ahead,
know
Nick.
that we were mixing these two together.
Oh, sorry. I
Okay.
did tell you stunts, did I? I do apologize. The show will get better, everyone.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll cut
I'll,
this all out.
I'll change my rating then on that one. Okay, because when it comes to the special effects, they're friggin' awesome in this movie. And super bloody. I love them. You got that dude who gets the friggin', like we said, the acid on him, the waist, and he's like all deformed and everything. Love him too. Love the effects on that. And yeah, the stunts, like I said, like the gas station when it blows and he's coming out through the fire. I never watched like the behind the scenes on this or anything, but that's such a badass shot of him coming out of the fire, I find.
Yeah.
All the stunt work with the vehicle chases and everything is great, and then them throwing out the guy like we said earlier. So yeah, I think the stunts are really well done. The special effects are friggin' awesome. They're very ultra violent, which I love being the horror fan. So I'm moving this one up to a 9 out of 10.
Okay, did you watch the uncut version? Because I did.
I have
So
it on
what-
Blu-ray. I don't know if it was done.
So when Ed 209's blasting the guy in the office, and then you see more of it, or when they kill Murphy, you see his whole arm just get blown right off.
well, that was
Yeah,
the
you-
version I seen. Then I seen that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's another thing too. After the guy gets killed in the office at the beginning with Ed 209, and Buddy's like, Buddy's like, someone call a paramedic. I don't think you need
yeah,
a
yeah,
fucking-
I know.
Yeah. The old man is just like, Dick, I'm very disappointed in you. He's just like mildly annoyed.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, I'm giving it a 9.
Okay, sweet. Davey,
So
what
my
about you?
overall score is gonna go up by 2, just to let you know.
By 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Davey.
Yeah, I'm giving this one a 10 on stunts and effects as well. I've got such a soft spot for the 80s, like practical effects and everything like that. Like I said, the squibs here, I can't think of a movie that does better squib work, especially talking about that Ed 209 scene where he just obliterates that guy in the office. Like those squibs are like this big. They're just these huge packets of blood. They're incredible. The Murphy scene, of course, where he's just, literally having limbs torn off of his body. You've got a really cool, the effect that when RoboCop stabs Boddicker at the end of the movie, and he pulls it out, and there's that slight delay and that huge explosion of blood all over RoboCop's chest. Like that's one of the coolest. Like every time I see it, it almost like surprises me, like a Jack in the Box. I forget exactly when it's gonna hit. Love that effect as well. And yeah, plenty of really fun stunts. I mean, you got how many shots in this movie are like RoboCop shooting somebody that like falls over a railing? Like, I mean, come on, you got, it's the classic 80s guy gets shot, you hear the Wilhelm scream and everything like that. I eat all that up, and then I'll give it to him for the the effects work on the suit. Earlier when talking about the villain, I think Jason, you had said something about just like you think anyone could be put in that suit and it would work. I think that's a testament to the suit. Like I think Peter Weller does bring a little something that's kind of like almost like a dance performance to how calculated the moves are. But man, that suit,
it was supposed to be Michael Ironside.
Oh, okay.
But Michael Ironside was too wide. His frame was too wide, so he couldn't fit in the suit.
Yeah, it works better that they went with Peter Weller's a pretty slender guy, like all over.
Yeah.
But it works because the suit's so big. So anyways, I'll work that into the whole thing here. Botine and his team didn't have to be as ambitious as they were 5 years before on the thing. But this one is just appropriately bloody, and I think just enough over the top to sell the 80s excess of it all.
For sure. I give it a 9. The stunt work and special effects. Nick mentioned the guy on the bike, whoever fell off that motorcycle onto the car. It looked real to me whenever I watch that, and seeing real explosions is so nice to watch when you see older films, because everything they just don't take those risks anymore. When they want to see, they'll CGI stuff, but you look back at this. I mean, I just heard a story of the guy who played Eli. Is it Eli?
Emil,
the guy with
Emil, the toxic waste
Emil.
guy. Yeah.
So when he's blowing that gun off against the stores and everything, like they were way too close than they were supposed to be, and that glass, and you could see them go like that. You see them turn, like that glass was being blown out. Right?
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, there's a cool YouTube short that I saw that talks about that, but the toxic waste, that's the most memorable scene when he's going around, his fingers are melting and all that kind of stuff. It's really good practical effect work.
I used to slow-mo that scene on VHS. I would slow-mo it because the dummy gets hit, the head pops off and kind of hits the windshield, but you see like the legs like go under the vehicle. It like splits into 3 pieces. It is just magnifique, just so beautiful.
Now obviously there's some things that are dated, like with the way Ronnie Cox falls out the window at the end. It's not great. I just wish, like, I get you're dealing with a suit, but if RoboCop could have moved swifter and faster, like he did in the remake, where he was able to move a lot quicker and stuff like that, that probably would have made the action more sleek, what he could do and stuff. But we're dealing with a suit, right? So they probably couldn't do that. But all the others, the action, the stunt work's really amazing. The driving scenes, the where they kill Murphy can't be understated, man. That's a brutal work of practical effects there. And when they shoot him in the head at the end, you just see that gaping hole in his freaking head. It's fantastic, special, over the top, but it's supposed to be. That was the intent, right? But fantastic.
Plus, we got the stop motion too.
The
stop motion effects, which I know some people would say is outdated, but I would actually prefer that to having a CGI Ed. So
that's my argument with the original Terminator when he stopped motion. I still find the scenes work.
Yeah,
it's creepier.
Yeah, there is
just
some
creepy.
settling.
And I love that Ed 209 is there's the top of him is like it's a microphone. I'm like, that's so freaking funny that they did that. They just took a vocal microphone and like flipped it upside down, and then boom, there you go.
You gotta love that scene where you think he's still alive, like his legs, then it shows up and he's missing the top half.
Yeah,
I love that scene.
Yeah, but yeah, it's I just literally watched it before we hopped on, just the ending of it, and Buddy going, his freaking lips curled down like this, his eyes are melting, and it's
Yeah.
too bad Jason Takes Manhattan could have done that effect better.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
You leave that movie alone.
Yeah.
All right, the score. Nick, what do you think about the score of this one?
I gave the score a 7 out of 10. I didn't realize that it was one of the categories on here when I was watching it, but I did notice the score for sure. I find it works best in the scenes where RoboCop like comes on the scene, and it adds this certain amount of like epicness to him. Like, I don't know, it just really like elevates the scene when he shows up to arrest someone or whatnot. That's where I noticed it most. I find and where it worked best. I don't find it's one of those scores like in some other movies that will just constantly get stuck in your head all the time. Well, not for me anyway, but it really worked well for the film, so I give it a 7.
Sweet. Davey?
Originally I gave it an 8, but I'm thinking more of like a 7 too, because I do think it's memorable. I like the tune. It just seems like there's not really many flavors other than that main theme,
Yeah.
So I know they've got some work with like the news broadcast and all that kind of stuff. There's some good use of music there that like just fits the tone of those pieces. But I mean, I do think the theme is memorable, but also like I can only remember the one theme, just the big like bombastic horns and everything like that. So yeah, I'll give the score a 7 on this one.
Sweet. I gave it a 6.5. Just because it's more iconic to me than it is actually good, I guess. Sure, it has that mechanicalness to it that the really dun 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 dun. It's very regimented and stuff like that. I don't know. It's
quality to it. It's
yeah,
like a military kind of vibe.
I like the judge's score too. Can I listen to it alone without the movie too, and still get something out of it? I wouldn't probably listen to this on its own. You know what I mean? Whereas I listen to Predator all the time. You know what I mean? And how well it works in a film. I think it works okay in the film. Like you guys said, the main score, the main theme of the whole movie is pretty cool, right? But yeah, I find it just to be an okay score. It's all right. It's not terribly bad. It's not terribly great. Supporting characters. So this could be everyone, like everyone surrounding this movie, and like you guys, like Nick, anyone who stands out to you. So doesn't matter to me. So what'd you give it?
I'm thinking about giving this a 7. Yeah, I had this at 6.5. I'm going to move it up to a 7, just thinking about it now. But I do wish that Nancy Allen's character, Lewis, would be a little more in the movie. Like, she's in the start, and it feels like she's kind of missing in the middle, and then she shows up again near the end to help him out and everything. I wish she had more to do, and like you said, Jason, I just wish they did more with, like, her grief and that for what happened, or her guilt. But yeah, all the other characters are great. I like all the OCP guys. Like you said, the head cop there, I don't know, the sheriff or whatever hell you'd call him there, the lieutenant, the head one, he's pretty cool too. But yeah, no one really stands out compared to like the villain or the hero. But yeah, they're all pretty good. I'll give it a 7.
Awesome. Davey?
I gave supporting characters a 7 as well. I really dig them, but yeah, it is kind of the, I mean, gosh, it's like, Dick Jones in a way is kind of a side character or a supporting character though too, but he's also on the villain side. Yeah, the OCP executives, like they are pretty entertaining, but I think like, yeah, ultimately when I think about the supporting characters, I'm there for the guy with the weasel laugh.
Yeah.
And all the members of the gang and everything like that, but they just all seem like you said, Jason, it's an hour and 35-minute movie. They just didn't really we didn't spend too much time with these characters. I even think with Lewis, they could have you could have had her going to Murphy's widow and stuff and try, they could have had something like that could have developed all three characters, the widow, Murphy, and Lewis, but they didn't ultimately. But yeah, supporting characters are fine here. They're not anything too amazing though.
I honestly gave this an 8. I think all the characters surrounding this movie really carry it. As much as I would love to see Lewis get more screen time, especially after they set her up as a badass. Like the whole point of her kicking that guy's ass was to show, okay, he doesn't need this is someone who knows how to take care of themselves, which there wasn't much of a payoff really for that. But I don't know, like all the villains, so like everyone, all the OCP executives, like Bob Morton and the people he talks to, Dick Jones and what's the guy who runs OCP there? He's the
I think they just call him the old man.
The old man. Yeah, he's a sweet
man.
old man. He's a sweet old man. He really is. He's pretty cool. He's the guy from the Last Starfighter, actually, the alien from the Last Starfighter.
And he's in Season of the Witch. Yeah. Dan O'Hurley.
That's it. That's it. Thank you, Davey. But yeah, they really work for me. All the supporting, and I look at the whole gang as supporting characters too, like all the villains. I find they all they're all pretty good. You know what I mean? So, but yet they don't overshadow. They don't overshadow like Clarence or none of them steals the thunder from those guys.
They're a bit more loony than Clarence.
And Bob Morton I think is a cool character too. Just he's all about excess, and he's just the shrewd businessman who goes in and takes it from the older guy, and they're sticking each other in the back all the time, and you see an opening, you go for it. All right, entertainment value. So this is pure what you get out of this movie for entertainment value, Nick.
I give that a 9 out of 10. I have a really fun time watching this. Like I said, the pacing is great, never a dull moment. It's super ultra violent, and I'm right into that. Super bloody movies. There's so much blood in this. It just moves at a really quick pace. There's a good amount of action. It has everything, man. It's right up my alley for that part of the movie. So yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 for me.
Awesome. Davey?
This is a perfect 10 out of 10 for me on the entertainment value. When I was a kid and stuff, I liked this movie. Maybe I saw it in my teen years once or twice or whatever. But then once I kind of rediscovered it in my 20s, I was like, oh my God, this movie is really aged well. It has stood the test of time. I watch it at least once a year now, I would say. And it just seems to get better and better with age. So everything about it entertains me. I really like the story. We've talked about the gore and how, just glorious it all is. So really love that. You've got just a nice, gritty, grimy, practical effects driven 80s action film here. What's not to love? So, and in an hour 35, I'm never sitting there looking at my watch. I am such a runtime bitch that when I watch movies nowadays, if I'm starting to feel that it's getting a little long and I see that we're at 2 hours, I'm like, this shit should have been over 15 minutes ago. So I'm glad that it doesn't overstay its welcome, even though it probably could have given me a little bit more. And I would like it even a little bit more. But pure entertainment, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it was very common for movies this long. I mean, First Blood's only an hour and a half. Some of the best are only an hour and a half movies. They used to move at a certain pace.
That's the problem nowadays. With some movies are fine at longer run times if they're needed, but a lot of times they're stretched out to get that longer run time. It's why?
When did 2 hours become the standard? I think that's there's probably at least 10 minutes you could cut out of your 2 hour movie.
Well, for me, it's how interesting, how engaged I am.
For sure. Yeah.
Believe it or not, Die Hard's 2 hours and 10 minutes, but doesn't feel that way though.
Yeah.
Because I think you're with a character you just want to be with through, I think that's what it is. I think a lot of people, when they start hitting 3 hours or whatever, why is this? Well, I don't think you're that engaged with the characters. That's why. There's I don't know. Pacing can be a weird word sometimes when we're talking movies because But yeah, it's an entertaining film for sure. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I'm highly entertained by this movie. I liked it a lot more as a kid, though. I will say that, like, but it doesn't really drop in pacing too much. I mean, it has really good beats to it. You know, like when he comes back as RoboCop, there's that section where he goes through like 3 different crimes.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? The store, then he goes
Mhm.
to the girl who's being raped, and to the ex-mayor or whoever he is, and it's kind of this
Oh, yeah.
establishing, and that's all. But the villains are so entertaining. It has to do with the one-liners, everything. He fit everything nicely into a good an hour, and you put the commercials in. If you take the commercials out, it's probably even less, this
Yeah.
movie.
Right.
So yeah, highly entertaining.
Mhm. And I agree. I actually find it's better as an adult than as a kid,
Yeah.
personally.
Sweet. I
That's-
can see
I
that.
think I
too.
think it's more of the themes and stuff come out a little bit better.
Yeah, because you can relate to it, and especially if you've dealt with anything like this in your job, or the world where they're trying to like the capitalist society, or they're trying to privatize things,
Right.
like privatizing the police force and stuff like that. It'd be a nightmare. Like I said. All right, Legacy. Nick, what'd you give it for Legacy?
Yeah, this was tough, and I was thinking about it. I ended up giving it a 7 because I mean it did spawn 2 sequels, like you said, a bunch of video games, a remake, a TV series, which I remember pieces of watching on cable back in the day. But I feel like it doesn't have. I can't put it higher than a 7 because I feel like we were saying earlier, how nowadays a lot of people aren't even really aware of this film, like newer audiences, younger audiences, I should say.
Mhm.
And it just doesn't have that same impact as like some other franchises like Predator or like Terminator, where it seems like those franchises never die sometimes. But yeah, this one, it feels like some people have forgotten it over time a little bit. So yeah, I can't really put it higher than a 7 personally.
I think it's because the sequels were so bad, and they did a
That
show
doesn't
that
help,
wasn't good.
yeah.
I think that really harms it
Mhm.
for its legacy. Davey, what do you think about the legacy of this film?
I originally had it at a 7, but I think I'm gonna drop it to a 6, honestly, because I just think about lasting impact, and unfortunately, with how great I think this one singular movie is, it's true that, I like RoboCop 2 just fine, but it is a pretty big drop off. The elements that I like from the first movie are mostly there, but then there's a bunch of extra stuff that doesn't really click for me as much, and it is a little more long-winded and all that. So and the third movie's a total joke. Don't even watch it. I mean, unless you want to, like, if you want to have a laugh, like, it's great. Like, you're gonna laugh your ass off. It's fucking hilarious. Like, RoboCop's like flying around and stuff. It's absurd. And and then I think that, like, the remake was so bad I turned it off. Like, I rarely ever turn a movie off. I got maybe 15 or 20 minutes in, and I was just like, oh no, I know exactly where this is going. This is one of these modern movies where they totally don't understand what made the original, like, attractive to mainstream audiences at all. But we're gonna get Samuel L. Jackson on the same stage that he does his Capital One commercials, and they're gonna try to do the same thing, but completely misunderstand what made that thing the thing.
Yeah.
It's like watching Scream 5. It's like you think you know how to do this, but you don't really know how to do it. So unfortunately, yeah, and what Nick said, same kind of thing. Like, there are people, I would be surprised if you're born after the year 2000, and this is nothing against you, it's about the legacy of RoboCop. I would be surprised if you are very familiar with that first movie. You might kind of know who the character RoboCop is, but unfortunately, it's very few weirdos like me out there that are like, oh my God, this movie's so good, let's keep on talking about it. It's like the very first Ninja Turtles movie. I'm just like, I go back and revisit it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. This is so much better than we even deserved at the time.
Yeah.
And I feel that way about RoboCop. It's this really special kind of sauce. But unfortunately, it doesn't have a strong legacy. Sucks. I guess I got to keep on talking about it. Go watch RoboCop, kids. If you were born in the year 2000 or after, do yourself a favor. You're going to have a blast. If you want to know what the 80s were like, there you go. A little taste of the 80s for you.
Well, I was just finishing the ending up, and my son came down to play some video games. I said, I'm almost done, 10 minutes left. He goes, what is this, Dad? They, like, literally did not know. I've had it on many times, but I don't usually let them watch excess violence. Well, he's 14 now, but a few years ago, not so much. But I said to RoboCop, but he had no idea what it was, and he watches YouTube shorts. Like, he knows who Ghostface is, he knows who Jason is, he knows who Freddy is, he knows, but he had no clue of who RoboCop was. So 7.5, I'm giving this legacy. Now, nostalgia is different. I have a high nostalgia for it. Like, every Friday night, I played in like a high school band, and so we'd go to my buddies, we'd jam, we'd watch RoboCop and The Crow. We'd watch those two movies every freaking weekend. So I have a lot of memories hanging out with buddies, watching RoboCop and just quoting the whole movie while we're watching it. You know what I mean? And so it doesn't have a great legacy. Hopefully someone can change that. Hopefully someone can make I'm hearing that what's his name, the guy who did District 9, Neil Blomkamp, wants to do like a legacy sequel or something to this. So
I mean, they had that video game that works works within this universe, right? It's this RoboCop, it's the Peter Weller RoboCop, it's not the Joel Kinnaman one. So I don't play a lot of modern games. I'm still stuck in the past, surprise. But it looked pretty cool. I mean, as far as everything I can see. So maybe that's the one little thing of its legacy that might resonate with a newer audience. But how many of those people have seen this amazing Paul Verhoeven movie? God damn, this movie's so much fun.
Or maybe have played as him in like Mortal Kombat or something, you know? Like,
sure, there you go. Yeah.
RoboCop.
Oh my God, that's so 80s. It's
Alrighty.
So 80s.
Okay, let's grade this baby. So let me explain this quickly, guys. So Reload is basically anything above a 4, I would say. It's something that you'd put in and watch again and again. It's Reloaded, would give it a reload. Standby is kind of like that middle of the road. You know, I don't hate it, I don't love it. It's kind of like, if it's on, I'll watch it. And Retire is basically, I'm throwing it out, I don't want to watch that shit again. So for me, this is a reload. I'm giving RoboCop a reload. What about you, Nick?
Oh, definitely giving it a reload as well.
Yeah, reload for me. I mean, this is a 5 out of 5 movie for me. If I'm giving it a star rating. So there you go. I am high on RoboCop. I'm as high as a guy snorting coke off some gorgeous 80s titties on RoboCop. Yep. That's how I feel about it.
Just trying to remember the drug name in part 2. Nuke, is it Nuke?
Nuke.
Yeah.
Nuke. I was trying to remember what he says to when he's with the two bitches, Bob or whatever, and he's like, I just love smart women or something like that.
God, you girls are so great. I mean, I love to be with intelligent women. Smart is so sexy.
I just love smart women or something like that.
Yeah.
I love
my head. That hurt. But life goes.
Pulling the pin out of the grenade with his tongue. That's another. Yeah. That's not even a one-liner, but it kind of is. It's like a visual one-liner.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's time. So the way this series is going to work, everybody, we did a collective points. We've given throughout the show. We've been giving points. I got them all tallied up here. So this is all the movies I'll be talking about through the season. So we got Murphy, RoboCop, and these are some of them you'll recognize, maybe some not. So our hero as a collective is getting 75 points. So I don't think he's going to stay at first for long, to be honest with you. We got some big names here, like Indiana Jones and Kyle Reese and Ellen Ripley and Uncle Bob from T2. So James Bond. So, but RoboCop now, and I'll probably do a lot of posting on Instagram when I release this video. So follow me on Instagram and stuff like that too, at BACKTRACK Cinema 13 to follow along with this fun here. Villains, Clarence Boddicker is getting an 88, so there's gonna be some tough competition here, but I think he's gonna fare well with the other villains here throughout this season. And I'm giving away all the movies we're going to talk about, but that's okay. We got RoboCop, Cobra, Casino Royale, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Missing in Action, Assault on Precinct 13, Aliens, Terminator, The Raid, Hot Fuzz, Dirty Harry, and T2 for season 1 of AMR Action Movies Reloaded. And the movies, RoboCop's going to be sitting at an 81. So it did fairly well. Davey really pushed those numbers up, though, I think, with a lot how much he loves this movie, which is fine.
I'm a big fan.
So that is excellent. So, all right, guys, let's move along now. Could this be remade now? I know we had a remake a while back, but would you welcome a reimagining, a remake, a legacy sequel? You can have the floor as long as you want. You can talk about who you want to see as RoboCop or the villain. Go ahead, Nick. Would you welcome a remake?
I'm not sure. I think it's possible to remake this in a good way, but I don't know if that would be their intentions, depending who gets this. But yeah, after that last remake, I was not a big fan of that. I thought it was really too watered down, and they kind of missed the point. So you would really have to have someone who is a fan of the original and knows what they're doing and how to handle this, right? So I'm not so much opposed to it. I wouldn't get too excited if I heard there was a remake or something because of what we had last time. So, but I'd have to think about it for what director or what I would want to do this, right? So yeah, that's where I'm leaving it for now. But I'd be skeptical if they announced they were remaking this.
Could you see anybody in the role, like a really good villain or RoboCop himself? Does anybody stands out to you?
In modern times,
and don't say Glenn Powell, or I'll punch you in the fucking
Glenn
face.
Powell, isn't he in everything? That's funny. Not off the top of my head, not really. I just can't.
That's okay. That's
think
okay.
right now.
Davey, would you welcome a remake?
Gosh, it's tough. I guess if they were going for this exact look, if you were telling me like, hey, it's gonna be the '87 RoboCop, where we're gonna live in that world and we're gonna, it's gonna look like this. It's just gonna be modern film techniques. Then I would be like open to it, especially like depending on who was involved as like writer director, So they would need to have somebody that could really capture that tone of like the humor, which I think is a very specific thing. So, somebody that had some sort of like, Kevin Williamson, Joss Whedon kind of writing chops, something kind of in that vein to match the Neumeier and Miner script that we got in this original. And then, gosh, if he hadn't already just done The Running Man with Glenn Powell, I would have said somebody like Edgar Wright, as far as somebody that can capture the mix of two different tones, like Hot Fuzz, like you've got, coming up on the series here. Jason has got the cop thing with it's kind of an homage to movies like RoboCop in a lot of ways.
It'll be a first time watch for me. I haven't watched it yet.
With I think Hot Fuzz is like low key fucking awesome. Like, and it's one of those movies that like the second or third time I watched it, I was like, oh, I like it even more now. But I always liked it, but it's got like, I'm sure you'll dig it. And, I think if you had that kind of vibe, I don't know if Edgar Wright's really got the juice anymore that he used to have then. I could also see somebody like Fede Alvarez directing a really cool RoboCop.
It would be violent. He knows how to do vicious and violent.
He's good at taking other people's IPs. Like, I thought his Evil Dead movie was fantastic. And I think his Alien movie, while those Alien movies are all unnecessary, this one did a better job than most at kind of capturing that original feel. So I could see somebody like that in the role, and then, or in the role of, at the helm as far as director.
Actually, Peter Weller could play a really good Dick Jones now. Like,
he could. You could do the legacy thing where you bring somebody back like that. That could be kind of fun. I don't know who they would cast as RoboCop. They'd probably get somebody like Timothée Chalamet in there, right?
Yeah. I don't know a lot of
big star that's kind of a little, shorter. He's not even that short, but I don't know.
I would even go with Tom Hardy. I would go with someone who's familiar.
Oh, you want somebody bulky? Okay.
Or, well, it's honestly,
I'm trying to imagine the original suit. That's all.
When I watched Havoc on Netflix, I really dug it. I know a lot of people didn't really warm up to that movie, but after watching that, the action, the way it was, even with the CGI, I was like, this guy would make a really good, Gareth Edwards would make a good RoboCop movie. just the neon colors he was using
Yeah.
and all that. And Tom Hardy just happened to be in that, but I thought, he could be he'd probably play a decent RoboCop. And I know The Raid, Gareth Edwards, The Raid, that's his kind of like his masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. But I think maybe something like that you could it'd have to be really slick action. Like I'd want to see RoboCop like running down the highway on a bike and like really fast and being able to move quickly and swiftly, and he'd be a force to be reckoned with. Like that's the way I would I would do it. I mean, it already has those inner linings of the Frankenstein story, so why not run with it? Run with it like that, or maybe expand on that. And I would have Lewis as a much bigger character and stuff like that. But I'm really kind of stumped too. Like I don't know who I would really
like
cast
for modern times. Yeah, if you ask me like for the 90s setting or something, I would have a lot more options. But like right now, it's tough.
Yeah. I know. I'm trying to think. Like I could see somebody like, and I know he's in a lot of stuff, but it would be kind of different for him to be in a role like this. I could see somebody like Jack Quaid as RoboCop. He's the bottom half of his face has just got this classic kind of look to it. And I feel like he's always playing the same kind of guy, and you couldn't do that with RoboCop. So it would just be refreshing to be like, thank fuck, Jack Quaid's in something, and he's not just doing the quirky Jack Quaid thing, which is basically his dad as a younger guy, So I could see that. But yeah, this one is I would want it to be like full 87 look. That's what I'm going for. So the mod, like him running and everything, I get what you're saying, Jason. It makes for better action and all that. I think part of the allure, at least for me with the original RoboCop, is the fact that there are limitations to him, and that's all part of the universe we're living in. They're actively trying to replace him before he's even built. Like they already got they got Ed 209 like ready to roll, and then the whole next movie is about replacing him, literally creating RoboCop 2 in a movie called RoboCop 2. Yeah. So I kind of like that idea that he's not sleek, but he is still a force to be reckoned with. I kind of dig that, because he's just the Terminator.
Yeah, that we also gotta acknowledge how crazy AI is getting now. I'm sure they would have to insert that into the story somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could have RoboCop ends up almost like fighting the machines.
You could get
becoming even more, having to find even more humanity because of stuff like AI that is that more humanity has been lost in the world. So yeah, you could definitely go in that direction.
Sweet. So I'm going to cap it off with a very good first episode of RoboCop. I thank you guys for giving me your time. It doesn't go unnoticed. I really appreciate it. It was a great conversation, guys. Everyone who's watched after the fact and all that kind of stuff, just comment below. Go to their channels, the Movie Ranker, the Metal Junkie, and Davey Deathray. Their channels will be in the description below and all that kind of jazz. And the next episode, guys, will be Crime is Disease. He's the Cure. Cobra from 1986. That's going to be a blast to doing some Cobra. So that will be next week's episode after I drop this one. So yeah, that's all I got, guys. You guys all take care. Thank you for watching. And thank you for all the support, for everything, sticking with me, because I know I've been away a lot and been inconsistent, but we're climbing back out. So thank you, everyone, and I'll see you in the movies. You've been watching Backtrack Cinema.
Take care, y'all.
See ya.
The name's Bond, James Bond.
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?